What brought you to Christianity? So I was born in Korea. I went to a Christian kindergarten, but I did not like it. Like, I remember I thought God sounded mean. But again, Arrogant and I were discussing it earlier. It's, like this North Korean defector and sex trafficking survivor, Yeonmi Park. Please look her up if you have a chance. She's a necessary voice right now in the whole to like fight the whole woke revolution slash communist takeover in the West. But she obviously had intercourse with a lot of men because of the sex trafficking. And apparently, these Christians, I don't know if they were ministers, I don't know if they were Korean or not, but I would bet money I don't have they were Korean. They said that she was dirty, she'd never be clean. And so, like, maybe it's like some Korean Christianity or Christians who take the Bible way too, strictly. And but I do remember in kindergarten, before any indoctrination in Western schools, I remember not liking what they said. Like, you'd go to HELL if you don't believe in God, and I didn't like that. But so that my family is actually Buddhist, but I also didn't like what they do. Basically, I didn't like religion a lot. So punitive. For example, in Buddhism, the whole concept of reincarnation, they believe that if you do something wrong in this life, then, or if you do something good, like karma, right? It affects what you are reborn as, your reincarnation. So if you're bad in this life, you'll be reborn as a mosquito or something, or you'll be born as a human again. But which is like fine, whatever. But on the flip side, that can justify the suffering, kind of like what the Friends are doing. It's like you wouldn't be suffering if you didn't deserve it. But the Buddhist reincarnation version is you wouldn't be suffering if you didn't do something bad in your previous life, right? So anyway, I grew up pretty agnostic and atheist, even though like I was exposed to different religions. And Christianity, I was speaking about it earlier with Arrogant. There are definitely these sci-fi fantasy books I read in the school library in junior high school that have like explicit anti-Christian, anti-Catholic, anti-Jesus sentiments. And reading them as an adult, I was like, this is like propaganda, like straight up propaganda. Then Dr. Jordan Peterson helped me like wake up from like the woke cult left. And when he's helped me in so many different ways, like with my mental health, with everything, like so many things in my life, I'm so grateful for, like, and like understanding what it is to be human, more as like extravagant as that sounds, like genuinely. But I really enjoy his talks on Genesis and like the symbolism between Genesis and like human evolution. Like, for example, the reason it's an apple that Eve picked, or that Satan in the form of a snake. The reason it's an apple, it's red, and it's the woman giving it to the man, is because women, humans, we co-evolved with fruit. Apparently, fruit got more colorful, especially like red, the more that we sought out red fruit and like spread them. So I guess I had a fascination with the Bible and Christianity from a literary and cultural, like symbolic point. It's a book that's survived thousands of years, right? Like it survived for a reason. And then so like this was like from purely like psychological evolutionary perspective that Dr. Peterson approaches it from. But then one of my favorite manga slash anime, it takes place in like the 1200s ish. It's about the Vikings, like that era. And like there's a lot of Christians, and it was the first time I really saw Christianity depicted in a way that resonated with me. Like earlier, I was talking about how Jesus's love is like snow. It's consistent for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. Unlike a lot of, like, I don't know about you, but like my love, like a lot of humans love, it's specific, right? It's I love this person because she is my mother or he is my father, but I don't know that person, so I don't love them, right? But Jesus's love is consistent, like snow, and I was like, that's really like it just resonated with me, and yeah, because it's not love, it's discrimination, and the anyway. So then, sorry, it's so many parts, but it all added up, and that's why like I'm here right now with you guys. But I mentioned I was part of the woke cult, the woke left revolution, and I was a feminist. I thought abortion was a human right. Oh, I heard a noise. Thank you. And I was like, abortion is a woman's right, a human right, my body, my choice. I publicly um, would be pro-abortion and would donate to Planned Parenthood. God forgive me. And then I started, because I already changed my mind about Dr. Peterson after, assuming that he was a transphobic, misogynistic, far right, all the icks and the ists. And he ended up saving my life. So I was just more open to hearing the other, like, different opinions. Like, so I listened to an abortion debate, and she made Kristen Hawkins. She's with Live Action and Students for Life America, and she's a firecracker, and oh my goodness, she's amazing. But she said something, and I was like, oh. So I started doing my own research, and I found out human beings were social. We exhibit social behavior beginning in the womb. We start learning language in the womb. We respond to pain in the womb. Even the American Association of Pediatrics admitted that the pain of the neonate, the preborn human being, preborn baby, like for ethical reasons, they have to like consider the pain, right? And I saw a study, a photo of an ultrasound, and babies crying in the womb from getting a needle. Like it's like fetal surgery or fetal treatments, medical treatments, including needles. And doctors didn't know that needles will hurt the baby. And there's like undeniable evidence that babies feel pain in the womb. I saw the faces of the babies crying, and I just fell to my knees. Like I was shaking. I felt like throwing up. I thought I was going to lose my mind, like under the guilt. And like I've never had an abortion myself, but I've supported friends through it. I've encouraged friends through it. I've picked up a friend from a clinic. So I told my boyfriend and my ex 2 years ago that I would get an abortion 99.99%, and I was confused when he was upset. So I fell to my knees. The guilt was unbearable. I literally thought I was going to lose my mind. And I just started praying. I put my hands together. And then it was Jesus Christ I prayed to, because out of everything I knew from different religions, like Buddhism or Christianity or Shintoism in Japan, or I've never heard of anything about forgiveness except about Jesus Christ, right? So that was the first time I prayed, and I haven't stopped praying since. And so that's why we're here. Thank you for listening. I mean, couples get traumatized for life if something goes wrong with the baby in the womb and he or she dies. Our biological sex is determined from the moment we have our DNA, which is the moment of conception. Clearly, there is something important in there. Yeah, maybe the most important thing. or person. It doesn't matter if it feels pain or not. It's still a living being. It's a stage of development. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I'm just saying that it's these three factors, or like all these factors, they have their own beating heart. At 6 weeks gestation, double our heart rate or the mother's heart rate. Um, Little fingers and toes and eyes and beatings of a brain, cerebral tube. I'm really bad with pronunciation, but I do know the cerebral stem, and you can see at 7 weeks like clear human baby, and just at 6 weeks you could be a different embryo for a different species, but at also what okay cookies what you said, it's a he or she is a living being. It's a stage of development. I bet that animals fetal in their fetal stages have more rights than like puppies have more rights than a human preborn child. It's okay, Tara. You've seen and repented. Thank you. It's yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know. I know I'm forgiven. It's just it's still like so sad. I had a similar wake up call on abortion. I'm so glad it was a hearing by a former abortion doctor. Yes, and he explained how first, second trimester abortion are performed. I'm so glad you were open to looking at it. Most people, there's people I follow. So live action, Students of America for Life or Students for Life America, YAAS, and this guy's really, really good. Abortion abolitionist. He specifically says he is not pro-life because he supports capital punishment, but he's anti-abortion. So abortion abolitionist, and he compares what's happening now to the slave trade in America, the North Atlantic slave trade, because the excuse was used that in like the 1700s that a slave was only 3/5 a person, and now we're saying that preborn babies in the womb are not human beings, so are not people. So it's the same argument. And anyway, he's really good. Please check his shorts out. But I forgot what I was saying. Sorry. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So most people, when they're shown, like they're people are being interviewed, let's say on the street, like, do you like support abortion like rights? And they go like, yeah, like women should choose, like their body's their choice. And then they're shown like the procedure, like a video, and they're like, no, 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 I did not know that. Like, no, I'm definitely against that. So and none of us I think this comes back to the indoctrination in school. People aren't we're not taught we're taught. I remember we learned about pig biology, right? And like the pig, we had a biology lab with a pig fetus. We were learning about like fetus, but we learned nothing about the development of a human being in the womb, like from gestation to birth. Like we don't see. There's so much evidence now. There's so much medical technology, like 4D ultrasounds, like 3D ultrasounds. We have, like, this is beyond a shadow of a doubt. They're babies, and yes, a bald eagle has more rights than a human fetus. Well, it's illegal to hit or kill a puppy. I think it's possible for a veterinarian to kill any dog, I guess, but I don't think anybody's allowed to do it themselves or for any reason. Was that the guy wearing medieval stuff? Oh, I don't know, but it sounds like something he'd do. And let's see, scroll up. Did you lose any friends? Yeah, I lost one of my. Sorry, I'm not smiling because it's funny, but also it is a little funny. It's like because we said we were each other's soulmates. This other girl, we were both so woke and had so much of the similar issues and like mental issues and mental health issues and issues we cared about, and we had suicidal ideation for so long, and I am not suicidal at all. Dr. Peterson saved my life, but yeah, I lost a very good friend. We said we were sisters. We said we were soulmates, and yeah, over abortion, we we are no longer friends. But I do still have friends. I still have a friend who was as feminist like as I used to be, and very woke, but always. I remember she said like I said all what I had to say about like the studies showing that babies are human beings are social creatures capable of responding to pain and to learn language starting in the womb. And she was like, I still think it's a woman's choice. And I'm like we can agree to disagree. Like, not legally. I would love to see it banned. Canada, you don't need any reason. You don't need, I'm sorry, I live in Canada. You don't need any reason. You you can't protest in front. It's like the UK where people are getting arrested for praying outside of abortion clinics. It's it's the communist revolutions here, and so but she said you are so much more than than politics, right? So like I love her for that. But yeah, losing lots of friends, but my closest girlfriends from high school, we they aren't political and they're more common sense, you know? So it's okay. Some people don't call it love, but just attachment. Oh, back to the whole Vinland Saga, like the meaning of love versus discrimination, or yeah, attachment makes sense too. And okay, let's continue and wrap up, guys. So I have no idea where we were. So let's start from the beginning. Job. I think did we finish? Job finds no comfort. Okay. Yes. Okay. He will not suffer me to take my breath, but filleth me with bitterness. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong. And if of judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say, I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I would despise my life. This is one thing, therefore I said it. He destroyeth the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge lay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got confused. We already, okay. He will laugh at the trial of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Now my days are swifter than a post. They flee away, and they see no good. They are passed away as the swift ships, as the eagle that hasteth. They are passed away as the swift ships, as the eagle that hasteth to the prey. If I say, I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my heaviness and comfort myself. I am afraid of all my sorrows. I know that thou wilt not hold me innocent. If I be wicked, why then labor I in vain? If I wash myself with snow water, and make my hands never so clean, yet shalt thou plunge me in the ditch, and mine own clothes shall abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him, and we should come together in judgment. Neither is there any daysman betwixt us, that might lay his hand upon us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not his fear terrify me. Then would I speak, and not fear him, but it is not so with me. Okay. So this is where I'm confused. He's talking about God, right? Because H and he isn't capitalized like I was expecting it to be? How should it? If he will contend with him, he cannot answer him one of 1,000. Okay. I'm just gonna look up. Job finds no comfort. If you guys have something to chime in, please let me know. Job finds no comfort. So, 9. Book of Job. I don't even know how to look up. So 9. No, chapter 9. This is enduringword.com. Okay, so this was he was talking to Bildad. So Job praises the wisdom and strength of God, though it means that God is beyond his ability to know. Truly I know it is so. Job's answer to Bildad seems so much more gracious than the hard words Bildad had for Job in the previous chapter. He began by agreeing with Bildad's general premise that God rewards the righteous and corrects or judges sinners. But how can a man be righteous before God? Job's response to Bildad was wisely stated. Job obviously suffered more than normal, yet no one could rightly accuse him of sinning more than normal. If Job was not righteous before God, then how could any man be? It's important for us to understand that the Bible speaks of human righteousness in two senses. A man can be righteous in a relative sense, where one can properly be considered as righteous among men as both Noah and Job were so considered. A man can be righteous in a forensic legal sense, declared and considered righteous by God through faith. Job's question here concerns a first aspect of righteousness, though it is also relevant to the other aspect of righteousness. Job primarily wanted to know, if I have not been righteous enough to escape the judgment of God, then who can be? Yet in the ultimate sense, Job's question is the most important question in the world. Oh, how can a man find God's approval? How can a man be considered righteous and not guilty before God? I totally misunderstood that. But that's why we have the internet. I hope they don't shut it off like they tell us they might happen because of solar flares. Where are we? Job's weariness of life. My soul is weary of my life. Oh, also, if you guys want to write what brought you to Christianity, that would be cool to share. It's already very difficult to find good things on the internet. DuckDuckGo? I don't trust Google. Okay, so Job's weariness of life. My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say unto God, do not condemn me. Shew me wherefore thou contendest with me. One more time. I will say unto God, do not condemn me. Shew me wherefore thou contendest with me. Is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, that thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked? Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as man seeth? Are thy days as the days of man? Are thy years as man's days? That thou requirest after mine iniquity, and searchest after my sin? Thou knowest that I am not wicked, and there is none that can deliver out of thine hand. Thine hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet thou dost destroy me. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as the clay, and wilt thou bring me into dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and curdled me like cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fenced me with bones and sinews. Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit. And these things hast thou hid in thine heart. I know that this is with thee. If I sin, then thou markest me, and thou wilt not acquit me from mine iniquity. If I be wicked, woe unto me, and if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head. I am full of confusion. Therefore see thou mine affliction, for it increaseth. Thou huntest me, that thou huntest me as a fierce lion, and again thou shewest thyself marvelous upon me. Thou renewest thy witnesses against me, and increaseth thine indignation upon me. Changes and war are against me. Wherefore then hast thou brought me forth out of the womb? Oh, that I had given up the ghost, and no eye had seen me. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. A land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is as darkness. So he wants to die. Job's weariness of life. Job's weariness of life. Let's see. To find your channel, I had to use a third-party search tool. Oh, Twitch doesn't let people filter streams from low viewers to high viewers in just chatting. It is possible in all other categories, however. Thank you for letting me know. I don't know what to do with that, though. I'm just gonna show up and read the Bible. And I can't say I've come to Christianity. I'm really here to listen, chat, and support a friend. Thank you. It's already very difficult to find good things. Oh, we already did that. Sorry. Okay. Life. Job's weariness of life. Oh, I need to write the Bible. So this is BibleHub.com. This doesn't give the meaning, just the... Does it? No, it just gives the verse, not the meaning. Is there a Spark Notes? Okay, how about we'll just continue for now. Oh, ooh. Commentary. Okay, let's just read. Thine hands have made me. Thou art well acquainted with human nature, for thou art its author, and fashioned me together round about. All my powers and faculties have been planned and executed by thyself. It is thou who hast refined the materials out of which I have been formed, and modified them into... Wait, is this also just giving a different version? Yet thou dost destroy me. Men generally care for... Okay, here we go. Okay. Men generally care for and prize those works on which they have spent most time, skill, and pains. But although thou hast formed me with such incredible skill and labor, yet thou art about to destroy me. How dreadful and evil must sin be when, on its account, God has pronounced the sentence of death on all mankind, and that body, so curiously and skillfully formed, must be decomposed and reduced to dust. Okay, so just lamenting. I find religious people a lot easier to trust since they ascribe to a set of moral values. Most people nowadays lack morality. In a world without morality, cheating is the best choice always. It's game theory. So most people will always cheat if given the opportunity to do so. It's and very Machiavellian, right? And I agree. And I've been following a bunch of like Christian content on Instagram and YouTube. And this one, I can't remember who it was, but this one argument was that morality cannot exist without the concept of God and good and evil. They explained it much better. I don't think I can do it, but it made a lot of sense to me. And it also, whenever someone talks about how religion is like the worst and Christianity is the worst, I actually saved it. I'm gonna read it for you. Just I just like here one sec. How mm, godlessness? Okay, nope. Ah, sorry, I actually really do. Okay, I'll just say it. Basically, I always say, like, I just ask some questions. It's like, how has modern society or postmodern society been faring? Like, how has it been faring since the decline in the popularity of Christianity? And have women and men and children been thriving? Have they been thriving, or are women more depressed and anxious and suicidal than ever? Same thing with men, and except men actually commit suicide much more, much more. I think it's like 8 times more, 4 or 8 times. I can't remember. A lot more, and don't quote me on the numbers, but a lot more. Like, and apparently Gen Z women are making more money than previous generations of women, but are more like 40% more suicidal. It's like, okay, maybe we're not doing something right. And then you see all the violent crime that's like increased. I believe it's all manufactured. I think they want to control us through fear and division and chaos. And for example, all the looting, right? All the mass like coordinated thefts, it will be the perfect justification for surveillance everywhere, including in stores. If please look up this Whole Foods in the UK and Portland's, I don't even know what it is, but I saw alcohol, like some sort of like supermarket or like grocery store or gas, I don't know. But in Whole Foods in the UK, and it's like face scans everywhere, and like a QR code to get in, or a face scan to get in, or a face scan to open the open the basically access the food. It's either you need a facial scan to access the store or access the food, because everything's locked away, and it's happening. So anyway, my point is, and then of course 73 million babies globally a year that are killed in the womb. I don't know if that includes ectopic like pregnancies, or like maybe even spontaneous abortion. So that's the clinical term for miscarriage, right? But it just said the WHO just said like 73 million abortions a year around the world. And so babies aren't faring well. Also children of divorced parents have like way more issues, including like tendencies of like sexual risk, like risky. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Increased tendency to engage in risky sexual behavior. Like we're talking about like young, and also like depression and like all these things. So yeah, no, and then fatherlessness is directly, or not fatherlessness, but yes, fatherlessness. But also like the studies, what they look at is the concentration of single mother families that predict crime. So break down the family. Anyway, so my point is, yes, since the decline in popularity of Christianity, specifically, I think, or just, you know, religion, or belief in God, faith in God, fear of God, like, God fearing men and women and children, it has, like, no one's been having like no one except the Satanists have been having a good time, right? So I always bring that up. Let's see. Actually, I was very much into atheism when I was younger, watching people like Richard Dawkins. Yeah, like I used to listen to him too. Never got through his book, but listened to him. And Richard Dawkins admitted, I saw it. It's wonderful. Maybe we can let's let's see it. Let's see it together. One second. It's pretty cool. He admitted one sec, YouTube. Richard Dawkins admitted that Jesus Christ undeniably walked the earth, and it's awesome. Like he's like, can't deny it. Like too many records. Richard Dawkins admits admits um Jesus Christ real person. Makes me happy. Okay.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch.
Okay. First, let's just finish okay, because I've always loved science and logical thinking, but for some reason a lot of people who were into that way of thinking also happened to behave in a way that to me seemed evil in their lives. That's how I came to like religion and Christianity. Oh, that's kind of also how I came to similar to how I came to conservatism, because did not like how a lot of the woke left like behave and treat each other like and concert like it's just and anybody who has a different opinion. But also, it's interesting how so many scientists believed in God. Albert Einstein said he didn't believe in like a personal God, like a God who listens to us, but he believed in like a general God, like that someone created all of this. And who else? Oh, Dr. Andrew Huberman, the famous neuroscientist. He's talking about faith. It's so cool right now. There's scientists and like celebrities and like pop artists. What's his name? The Spanish speaking. I don't even know what country he's from, but like it's oh no, not oh no. That bothers me because I actually really enjoy dancing to his music, but he's coming out. He came out recently on stage and was like, "I'm devoting my life to Christ." That guy Bear Grylls or whoever it was who does like the survivalist things, like I can't remember, but he got baptized in the Jordan River. Isn't that so cool? But yeah, scientists too. We're less likely to seek the help of a mental professional. It's mainly to appear stoic and unbreakable until the moment we break without seeking help or sharing our woes. I can't remember what I was talking about that you commented that on, but absolute like not like godlessness. I believe it because I think maybe also about male suicide rates. Yeah, absolutely. And right now, the sexual revolution has absolutely destroyed. It's just utterly failed women, men, and children. And I think it's yeah, so many lonely men, and they're not taken care of. I also believe this has to do with the huge rise in transgenderism right now because we're telling young people and older people, men, that you're toxic, your masculinity is toxic, everything's your fault, like everything you pillage the planet and hurt women and victimize everybody, and you're toxic, and like of course it makes sense for people to want to not be men or boys, right? And then there's always like the women are told, "Oh, you're beautiful. You're..." Sorry, I'm gonna start sounding like Pearl Davis, like, but or Daves. I can't remember her last name, but Pearl. And anyway, sorry, that was a digression. Oh God, the carelessness and promiscuity of young girls drives me mad, and it's this is how bad it is. There was a YouTube video again, like like conservatives, like kind of expose, like interviewing people on the street and kind of exposing like this mind virus that's been going around. And he asked this girl, this like young woman, not a girl, this young woman that like if you had to choose between ending racism or ending premarital sex, which would you choose? Wait, what? Ending racism or keeping premarital sex, which would you choose? And she thought really hard about it, and she said she'd keep premarital sex. That's how deeply indoctrinated girls and women are right now, to think that having sex with zero consequences is a human right, and it's the greatest form of individual freedom and social good. So again, I was part of that crowd. I wrote because I wanted to be a political writer at one point. I was like writing woke articles and like submitting them, posting them. And in one article, I said sex can be whatever you want it to be. It could be the most intimate connection between two soulmates and loved ones, or man, or I definitely didn't say man and wife. I don't know why. Like a married couple, like lifelong committed couple, or it could be like I think I said like a means of exercise, or it could be whatever it means to anybody. It's a whole like lack of moral standard, right? It's a there's no such thing as objective truth. Everything is subjective. You can't judge, right? And then I said at the end, or it could be a wet handshake. Like I'm like, oh man. Thankfully, the website that I published that to like went down, so thank goodness. But just remembering that and like not understanding. I remember being so like I just could not understand when like a guy friend once said promiscuous women are like terrible locks, while promiscuous men are like master keys. And I thought that was so, I mean, that's misogynistic. But it's like, no, we have it's different. It's different. Intercourse is different based on biology. Whether it's women or gay men being, sorry to make it so graphic, but penetrated, whoever's being penetrated is more susceptible to diseases and sexually transmitted like diseases and infections. And also women release oxytocin, the love chemical, right? We release that like during intercourse, and also obviously pregnancy. That's why this all ties together, I think. You cannot have a sexual revolution without justifying the killing of preborn babies. Like you can't do it. If it is immoral and unacceptable to kill a preborn baby in the womb, then that automatically means there's no such thing as casual sex, and there isn't. There's no contraception that has 100% efficacy rate in preventing pregnancies. Even there's a case. These teenagers got pregnant. This teenager, she got pregnant and she was a virgin. It turns out she and her boyfriend were doing foreplay like pretty extremely, and she got pregnant as a virgin. Apparently there's a 15-year-old girl who got pregnant in like Brazil or somewhere in South America. It's crazy. She was giving fellatio to her boyfriend. Then there was a knife fight with someone, and she ended up getting stabbed in the stomach, and some sperm got onto the tip of the knife, and got her pregnant. Like life will find a way. And there's no way to divorce heterosexual intercourse from the creation from procreation. So I think that's why people don't want to let go of it. People woke people like that, at least that one woman, she would not, as woke as she was, and as much as everyone thinks that racism is like the worst, like, I don't know, cardinal sin, it it still paled in comparison to the thought of losing premarital sex without consequences. So that's where we are. And I'm sorry, I believed it. The more a person copulates, the less strength in future pair bonding is what I've heard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And honestly, I feel it. I feel it. I just went through a breakup 2 weeks ago, and it hurts, but I mean, like, my first heartbreak when I was 17, dumped me a month after, like, I finally did it with him,